first of the Green Lantern planets that we're going to explore is Oa. One of the oldest places in known space, Oa is located at the very center of the universe, and was originally the home of a blue-skinned race known as the Malthusians, who are now known as the Guardians of the Universe. You might also notice that all these Malthusians are male. So what happened to all the females of their race? Well, we'll let you know in just a few minutes. But for now, let's focus on Oa and its inhabitants. It was these Guardians that created the Green Lantern Corps, a cosmic force of universal police officers, equipped with green power rings and lanterns to help them protect the universe. Over the years, Oa has become a desolate desert of a world, with only the Guardians' fortress city standing the test of time. This central citadel housed the central power battery that powered the lanterns and rings. However, in recent storylines, Oa seems to have been destroyed, leaving the Green Lantern Corps to find a new base of operations on the planet Mogo. Now, Mogo as a planet is pretty awesome, as it is not just a planet but a character as well. Mogo is sentient, mobile, and counted among the most powerful members of the Green Lantern Corps. When the Lanterns are in a bind and must deal with a universal heavy hitter, they bring in Mogo. And when Mogo comes, their enemies get wrecked. The awesomeness that is Mogo aside, we need to move on to the other Lantern faction planets. That's right, there are more than just the Green Lanterns out there. But then some of you already knew that. But for those of you who don't, there are a total of 7 different groups of lanterns. That is, not counting the black and white lanterns that appeared during the Blackest Night saga. And each of these 7 lantern colors has their own members, weapons, power cell battery, and of course, planet home base. So let's quickly run them down. The first is Ismalt. This planet houses the red power battery and is home to the Red Lanterns, who use their rage to fuel their attacks. Like the Red Lanterns, Ismalt boasts a fiery temper, with much of its surface covered in volcanic rock and molten lava. Okarra is for the Orange Lanterns, better known as Agent Orange, whose main motivator is greed. Okarra acts not only as the home for their power battery, but also as a storage space to keep all their ill-gotten goods. Thirdly, we have Qward. This planet was actually part of the antimatter universe, and one of Qward's moons was the birthplace of the Anti-Monitor of Crisis on Infinite Earths fame. Since the Crisis, the planet has become the home base for the Yellow Lanterns, aka the Sinestro Corps. Moving on to the star system of Polaris, we find Odym, a lush, jungle-like planet brimming with life. During the events leading up to the Green Lantern Blackest Night saga, 2 Green Lanterns who were banished from Oa, Ganthet and Sade, settled on Odym and formed the Blue Lantern Corps to help push back the evil of the coming Black Lanterns. Next we have the planet of Nock. Originally the inhabitants of this world were invaded, and a maze of cells was built just below the planet's surface. But eventually, the Green Lantern, Abin Sur, along with the keeper of the Indigo Light, Nostromo, came and retook the planet. Freeing those enslaved, they set into motion the formation of the Indigo Tribe, who would use Nock as a base for their power battery that would charge their staffs. Finally, the last of the Lantern planets is Zamaron. Sounds a lot like the word Amazon, like Wonder Woman and the Amazons. Well, this isn't just a coincidence. This planet is home to the Zamaron race, who are the female counterparts of Oa's Malthusians. Told you we'd get to them. These warrior women, capable of using violet energy, formed the Star Sapphires by taking women not only from their own race, but from all around the universe, who displayed features identical to their queen. Like all the other Lantern factions out there, there's much more to be said about the Star Sapphires, but we'll have to get to that in a later video. 2 other planets introduced by the Green Lantern stories are Helvin and Korugar. Arriving on Helvin is much like walking into the frames of a Disney cartoon. Though technically all part of the same race, the inhabitants of Helvin appear to be sentient, mostly woodland animals, including foxes, raccoons, and the squirrel-seeming Green Lantern Chip, and later his replacement, Badge. And while we know these guys can pack quite a punch, it's really hard to take them seriously in battle when they are the perfect size for punting. Meanwhile, the planet Korugar is the homeworld of the villain Sinestro. This arch-nemesis of Hal Jordan had originally been a Green Lantern, but like a small-town sheriff with too much power, he became hella corrupt, and positioned himself as dictator of Korugar. Obviously, the other Green Lanterns were not down with this, so not only did they strip him of his Green Lantern ring and powers, but they banished his ass to Qward. Now, this might seem like a good idea at the time, but as we saw, this decision eventually came back to bite them in the ass, as Sinestro became a Yellow Lantern and rallied others behind him to create the evil Sinestro Corps. Moving away from the Green Lantern mythos, our next section will deal with the planets featured during the 30th century, in the storylines of the Legion of Superheroes, along with a couple other remaining planets of note.